That was the FBI director, James Comey, last fall talking about a surge of violence in some of America's biggest cities. And just a couple of weeks ago, he doubled down on that again. His concerns that cops may be reluctant to do their jobs in today's day and age. Now the chill he spoke of may be playing out in devastating fashion on the streets of President Obama's hometown of Chicago, hometown by adoption, a city run by Mr. Obama's first chief of staff, Rahm Emanuel. A city where there were more than 400 shootings just last month. Think about that. Mark Furman is a former LAPD homicide detective and a Fox News contributor. Sheriff David Clarke is Milwaukee County's sheriff. Great to see you both. 400 shootings. Let me start with you on that, Sheriff Clarke. Just last month, put that number in perspective for us.
You can't. And along with that, 66 people dead. I'm trying to figure out why a state of emergency hasn't been declared in parts of city of Chicago, why there's no curfew in place from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. The first thing they need to do is stem the violence at nighttime. Somehow they have to stop the bleeding, but Rahm Emanuel seems incapable of doing this. I just need to know how many more black people have to be shot and killed, like Director Comey said, before somebody thinks that this is an emergency.
Mark, do you think this is part of the viral video effect, as the director suggested?
Well, I think there's probably several reasons. One is the technology that every person has in the street. But this is kind of a self-induced wound that Chicago has created. This has been going on for 20 years, maybe 20 years plus. To not go in or not support officers with task force type units to go in and attack these gang members. And let's be clear about this. Most of these are gang-related homicides, which makes it incredibly easy to target who the suspects are, where they live, where they geographically are, and like Sheriff Clarke said, you initiate a curfew for one thing. The most important thing is you take the targets off the street. If you take the targets off the corners, they can't be shot by a drive-by. And this is how you approach gang activity. You keep them off balance. You're very aggressive, and you need the support of leadership like Sheriff Clarke, and unfortunately in Chicago, that's non-existent.
Sheriff, do you think this is, is this a gang issue, or is this a giving up on gang issue, or is this a cops are reluctant to do what they're supposed to do because they think they're going to go to jail if they do it issue?
Well, it's any of those things, but I also think that it is a culturally dysfunctional black underclass in the city of Chicago that's causing this violence. Look, the folks down in Chicago Police Department, anyway, I'm talking about the administrators, not the cops. The police department has been demoralized by under Rahm Emanuel's leadership. They're not afraid to do their jobs. They're afraid of the United States Department of Justice Civil Rights Division. Instead of having lawyers from the Civil Rights Division down there combing through things, looking to snag some poor Chicago police officer for some transgression, they ought to have criminal prosecutors down there snapping up these gang members. There's about 1,400 that, according to the superintendent, have been identified. Get them off the street. Many of them have warrants, do warrant sweeps. Many of them are on paper, on probation. Snap them up, start to question them, find out all of the actors, start doing home searches under the law, which you can do for people on probation or parole, and get these individuals off the street. But instead, we have lawyers from the Civil Rights Division investigating the cops. This whole thing in Chicago is upside down. It is ass backwards.
Mark, you need a quick answer on this, but do you think that the cops have been demeaned by members of the public?
Absolutely. They've been demeaned, and they're afraid to actually go out and do the job they really want to do and aggressively be cops, because the leadership directly in the Ivy Tower is not going to support them when they've got attorneys from the Civil Rights Division waiting to pounce on them for anything that they do that might even look like it might be a violation of the law.
The numbers are just so dark. Deadliest May in 21 years, 69 people shot over the weekend, and on.
At some point, Megan, the governor is going to have to get involved. The governor is going to have to step in because, like I said, Rahm Emanuel is proving incapable of being able to get his arms around this thing.
People are being just massacred. It's good to see you both.